Hello, Rebel GMAN 3B. This is your week 2 recap. I'm Rob Top, and I'm here with the genius himself, Matt Corellian. Hello, Matt.
Hello! Not quite a genius. I've been not doing well in my own games this week, but bless you for trying to lift my spirits.
IT genius. How about that?
Certainly not a genius when it comes
Well,
to
you're...
predictions. We'll come to that a bit later. I was taking a look at the league table. It's been a rough and tumble week in 3B. No one's managed to make it all the way to 6 points, so it's always close at the start of the season. This is a particularly close start here. So this is shaping up to be an exciting run all the way to the end of the season, it's looking like.
Yeah, Goblins joint top on 4 points. It's good to see.
Yeah, indeed. It's well, we look there all the way down, past playoffs cutoff, past Challenger Cup cutoff, all the way down to 6th position. Everyone's on the same number of points there, so that really is good to see. I'm looking forward to what the next week brings. But before we get on to the next week, we shouldn't skip ahead because we've had some delectable morsels this very good week. Starting off with, unless there's anything else you want to add?
Have you got your average TV thing?
I do have the average TV. Last week we were at 1698 for the average TV. This is the actual TV across the division. We're back up to 1724, which was exactly what we started on. So it's almost like there's been some replacements moving through. As always, what does this represent? Who knows? It probably doesn't mean anything. But we're tracking it anyway, because sometimes science means tracking things that don't work. That's what my master's degree was anyway.
So you've recapped 1, 3, 5, and 7. I've done the other ones, yeah?
That is... Oh, wait, no, I'm just messing with you. Yes, I did 1, 3, 5, and 7.
Yeah.
I nearly got you. But yeah, so that's starting off with me. So this the first match I had a look at was the Warriors of Coney Island versus the Uruk Haikus, a kind of a hard-hitting match. The Warriors of Coney Island came in with 1380 TV. Uruk Haikus had 1980, so that's a big 600-point swing. The Chaos took a Wizard, Grashnak Blackhoof, a Babes, a Bribe, and got a +1 fave. So they came into it with a load of tools. So how did it go? Well, here we go. As you can see, Rain starting off the match as the Chaos kick comes in. The Orcs can get right underneath it to attempt the catch. Cheering fans singing him on, but it's not quite enough. As we come in, a very early fireball taking out this cage that had been set up by the Orcs here. A couple of resistances there, but getting a little bit of action on the ball. As we can see now, the dodging blitz right around the back. Go for it doesn't help, but has that reroll in hand to help. Does get the power as well, knocking that ball free but unable to follow up because of that handy ball carrying fend skill. And the ball does bounce back into kind of orcish lines, as it were. Tricky to try and dislodge. And the Orcs were able to get it back and take this push down alongside the thing here. What we're seeing here now, in that big 600-point TV difference, what we're lacking there a lot is skills. And one of the things that the Chaos advantage did have against the Orcs was a lot more block. We just saw reroll having to be used on a both down, turnover then being called on a both down, just when the Orcs were just in a position to run forward, taking that easy block, hitting the POW and getting an injury just to take a bit of an advantage, and a really lovely little nice attempt at counter pressure here, taking the... Oof, I do love that block animation. It's a big old drop kick there, knocks it free, as you're able to only be based on one side. The Chaos could dodge out, but it wasn't enough. Just the additional Orcish presence on the pitch was just enough for them to be getting the control. When it got to half-time, it was 8 Chaos versus 11 Orcs, so they've just got that player advantage. And if you've got that skill advantage, you've got that player advantage in a bash versus bash contest. Well, it's just keep turning the notches on that rack and keep stretching them out, and that's kind of what we saw here, as they were able to push heavily towards the ball, even on the Chaos drive here. Gore able to get through, dodge away, but fails the pickup there, and that is very unfortunate. Orcs just holding up a good line and just getting just those little bits of attrition where they can, just to see if anything sticks. And oof, with Grashnak out, that's a huge chunk of TV.
So good
down
last
there.
week, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It was.
So once again,
So that pickup changed the game, didn't it?
The Orc just using their rerolls now just for SVP distribution. They've kind of got it well in hand, as you can see. A lot of injuries there up on the Chaos side. And once again, they're just able to just put that pressure even on the Chaos drive, just to get through and just bully them away from the ball, really. These poets are also warriors, as is the way sometimes, especially with these agility up orcs as well, just able to snaffle their way through. And yeah, as we can see, it's getting those SPP on the Goblin just to level them up, to attempt to level them up, still approaching the high rank there. Yeah, in terms of level ups, there weren't any levels either way. Characteristically, in terms of a general consensus on this match, it was just the Haikus just getting that, just pressuring the skills advantage in this bash matchup, and just taking every scrap of air like a python surrounding the Chaos, and every time they give a little, just squeezing that bit tighter, and we just get the scoreline that we see. It was fair play from both teams. We saw some nice defensive pressure being put on by the Chaos, but they just got locked out by the higher TV team, and with Grashnak taking out a huge chunk of that inducements, yeah, it was pretty much all over at that point. On the bright side, no big permanent injuries for the Chaos. We are still very early in the season.
They haven't replaced their Minotaur by the looks of it. So I'll take it to be getting another Minotaur. How much money has he got? Does it tell you there?
It doesn't tell me here, but through the magic of clicking on things on the internet, we can see that we can't see what it is because it's not on there. Can you? Is it? It's
90k.
90k.
Yeah, 90K,
oh, it is there. It's down on the left. So yeah, presumably saving up for another one. So the lack of injuries there is going to at least help with that plan. Uruk Haikus, as we can see, all that block, all that guard. It's just a really gnarly matchup. Again, a bash versus bash against this one. If you are lacking some of those tools, not that they've not got any of them, but just as there's a few blocks being made, especially with this aggressive build on Rhino. But yeah, fair play to the Uruk Haikus. They won that matchup.
I'll take it the Claw didn't come into it too much by the looks of it.
Not particularly. Obviously, there's always going to be a little bit of action around those kind of players, but certainly wasn't enough to break them through like you might think. Okay. So next up was a match you watched, which I think was Proud Women versus. Oh, you go ahead.
Yeah, Proud Women versus the Imperishable Four, I think they're called. I haven't written their team name down.
I think that's right. Love it. TI4 it is in my notes.
Yeah. Zon's at 1800 and Kenway 1370 with a loner, plus a loner. They took 2 bribes, a babe, and a wizard. Ooh. So let's have a look.
Here we go.
So you'd expect the Zons to do really well in this game, and as you'll see, that the first sort of 4 or 5 turns, it was just a Kenway drive, just pushing up slowly, and then on this turn, the Zons just seem to just steam in and think, let's try to pressurize them and see what comes of it. A lovely dodge there. I couldn't work out that move too much, but as you'll see in a second, he does a nice sort of switcheroo and gets over to the left side of the pitch. Yeah, and it sort of puts us on the back foot really, and they couldn't do too much about it. Then they switch again to the right hand side, as you see now. I've had to edit this out quite a lot to try to get it down to the 3 minutes. There was a KO just then, and a nice easy turn 8 touchdown. The Kenway were really good actually, the way that they moved the ball around and did loads of 4+ dodges as well.
Impressive for Kenway, not a team you expect it from, but they've clearly kept the Amazons on the toes.
They have got some Edge 3 players, but the Edge 2 players were doing dodges as well. But as you can see on the right hand side there's quite a few casualties to the Kenry.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
And
they're a regen team as well, right?
yeah, the Wizard does well here. Oh, great timing for the Wizard as well.
Yeah, that's taken out a
And
huge chunk of the defensive line there.
you'll see on this blitz, he selects blitz and then tries to do the break tackle
Oh,
to get
it's
through
a
to the ball
double.
carrier. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he changes his mind, which I thought was real good play actually. You know, not just steaming in there, just watching what the dice do first, and he gets some people on the ball. But Amazons, aren't they? You know, with plenty of skills, and I like this play where he just screens off and then throws it. So if it does go wrong, you know, there's still a good chance that we can't get to the
If the
ball.
catch doesn't happen, you're screening with a throw as well. I love that kind of positioning.
Yeah, but the move before he pushed the Zon out the way so he could get the blitz, but unfortunately it was just pushes.
And yeah, you get that takedown. Gets the stun.
Yeah, and just runs it in.
Yeah.
So with the Kenway being numbers down, it's a case of, you know, can they kick it to the Kenway and get enough people forward to try to nick the 2-1 win with what 4 turns to go.
So, oh dear.
Yeah,
That's
ouch,
Blodge
isn't it?
guard as well. Oh.
Yeah, and they just took the death. It's just, you know, I think that's a edge down. And yeah, just ended up 1-1. The Kenway just held them. I showed this bit at the end here because the Kenway outdodged the Amazons. Amazing. So yeah, overall, enjoyable game to watch. A surprising result. I thought the Amazons might have nicked that actually, even though on predictions I put 1-1. 2 level ups: Natalie Portman and Diane von
Furstenberg.
Furstenberry.
Furstenberg,
Yeah,
it seems. Do you have those down, or do you want me to have a bit of a click on?
let's have a look. Yeah,
Okay. So, Larry Portman was one of them, was that right? Going for
yes.
sidestep, so blodge step catcher, Diane von
Yeah,
Furstenberg going for wrestle on top of the dirty player. Very typical follow up for that particular skill, if you do happen to get that second level
have
on
they
your
got
dirty
kick
player.
on the team?
Do they have
Is there
kick?
kick on that team?
Not that I can
Yeah,
see. Not on the dirty player.
yeah. No, I think that's an option kick, but wrestle's good.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'd do that on a rookie rather than the dirty player that got the skill, because you don't want them to get sent off, right? You've got that little bit of
Well, the way I see it though is you're putting the 3 rookies on the line, and your dirty player's not going to go on the line of scrimmage anyway. So, you know, that's why you might give him kick.
sure. Well,
But no level ups for the Kenway.
very unfortunate. Cool. So next up was a match I had a chance to watch, which was the Hat Tricks versus the Sit Down Boys. Hat Tricks are coming in at 15.30 and the Sit Down Boys at 16.70. So the Hat Tricks just took a Wizard, and so let's take a quick look at that match. Yeah, the Sit Down Boys starting with the throw and go for a blitz immediately. That's a blitz on a short kick, so they're getting stuck in right out of the gates here.
It's going to be nasty, isn't it?
It's certainly not a sight you want to see when you're staring down the barrel of it as the Chaos Dwarf coach there. So I imagine that was quite the shock. As you can see, nice positioning here, getting straight under the ball. Short kicks and elves and blitzes are just almost as powerful a combo as Claw, Power Arm, Mighty Blow. But the Chaos Dwarves are able to get a little bit of attrition going on just as they're taking their own turn. Well, the first turn of the game, obviously, as much as it might not look like it for the Elves holding the ball. But that opening line drive, taking 2 injuries off, really starts to help things going in the opposite way. And even though they could get the ball, it was a little bit unprotected. And even with that sidestep, the pow is enough to free that up, as the ball is kind of just bouncing all over the shop. They are able to approximately stabilise it, we might say here, just on the left-hand side of the flank. And, yeah, just running in.
They've recovered well.
Yeah. I quite like the staggered positioning. They're the ones that have got the Wizard as well, so they don't even need to worry about that. as we see, attempting to just leap through on the sidelines here. But alas and alack, oof, over he goes.
Oh, oh dear.
A pocket 3 does make it.
That's still bad. That's a 56.
It's also an armor value block. That's unfortunate. And yeah, from here the Chaos Dwarves are just able to run it through after that, just taking advantage of the position. Once again, another blitz. It's a pretty open ball with the more centralized defense for the Elves here. So once again, we've got them able to get under there and able to hold it up somewhat. But Elves do elf things, and they're able to get around the back and pick it up fairly straightforwardly. And once again, we're seeing a lot of this nice passing backwards to protect it. But as the ball carrier attempts just simplest of dodges to get away, makes it, but at the cost of a reroll. Throwing the ball back here to keep it well positioned, but
going the wrong way,
wrong way. Yeah. As they're able to juke around to the other side, the Wrestle Hobgoblin, break my bones, is able to free it up. That's why Wrestle's always very useful. And once again, some nice Hobgoblin recovery being shown by the Chaos Dwarves here. And just that little bit of extra movement just to taking itself away from the immediate blitz. Now, as we're seeing here, right at the end, just surrounding the last High Elf there, that 3 dice block, and then just able to push that recovered ball all the way through. Last a bit longer, well, he certainly can, as he's taking that score line to 2-0 for the hat tricks. We had a few level ups for the Chaos Dwarves here, last a bit longer. Igor Hatless and Karen the Bell. Sit down, boys. Got a couple of armor busts here. We focused on Vladimir Cosmos, who I think you've still got to keep. This is the dedicated sacker. You know, those. Yeah, he's going to be in a risky position, and that armor bust isn't going to help. But I don't think you can really think about sacking him. He's so well developed.
Start building a new sacker.
Start building a new sacker. Beachmaster, you're a little bit easier to fire there. Okay, so in terms of level ups, we've got our standard Chaos Dwarf blocker here, last a bit longer. This was a normal skill that was taken. What would you have gone for here?
Guard. Yeah, guard.
Gone for Mighty Blow. So we've got a 3 guard, 3 defensive, 3 aggressive position, which is fairly sensible. Igor Hatless has Mighty Blow. Where would you go there?
Stand firm.
It's a double, so Claw is what's going on. We go Igor Hatless being built as a lovely, not doing the trick which I get hassled for all the time, which is just basically giving everyone Claw because that's bad. And then we've got Karen the Ball, the Hobgoblin here. Starts off with dodge. It's a normal roll.
Block or sure hands.
Sure hands is what was gone for. Both excellent choices there. Wanting to get, because you're always going to be picking the ball up with someone. I think going for sure hands first, just to save yourself that extra reroll, I think makes a lot of sense.
That team's coming along really nicely, isn't it?
It's looking really good.
Yeah. And how beaten up are the Pro Elves? Are they sort of struggling now? Are they
not super beaten up? Like Vladimir Cosmos hurts. Beachmaster's not really a problem. Everyone else is basically still there. You've still got sacking options, but no other wrestle, really. So, yeah, I think we've got Mr. No Reroll here. Possibly he's going to be thought about building as a replacement. But, yeah, that's an AV bust you really didn't want to get. But it is what it is in Blood Bowl, unfortunately. Those sacker catchers, they're just at risk all the time. But losing it on a jump is just it's a real kick in the teeth.
Yeah, definitely.
So next up was a match that you had a chance to watch.
Yeah, a Grimtail versus Sabretooth Edge 3.0. Nurgle 1820 against the Woodies that were 1320 plus 4 loners. So they ended up taking 2 babes and an Apo. They've gone safety route. But if you'd like to start,
here we go.
Yeah, so we're up against a strength 7 beast of Nurgle in this game. And as good as the Wood Elves were in week 1, this was a mismatch. The beast was outstanding. And as you'll see here, they had a guy down in the end zone there trying to do the quick score, but it didn't come off, and the Nurgle just basically, go round the ball and block it all off. And even though the Wood Elves did try a few good tricks by pushing their own players away from the tentacles, it was still an uphill battle for them, and the removals were just coming fast. He really did try to take the tree down with the claw piling on dude a couple of times as well, which was quite good to see. But as you're seeing here, you got a War Dancer on tentacles. It was just such a hard game. I can imagine that was such a frustrating game for the Wood Elves. They lost both the War Dancers in the first half to KOs, and they both return in the second half. But the second half, just wait until you see the clips. Just, oh my God. Tentacles just manages to squeeze in there and hold about 4 players the entire half. Just they couldn't get away. They were doing red dice and just anything to try to get away. Because he's got stand firm as well.
Oh, I'd love a bit of stand firm on a Beast of Nurgle, especially a strength 7 one.
We were discussing whether yeah, that's a nasty injury there. We were discussing whether block or strength was a good idea. Now I'm watching him in action. Just strength was a fantastic choice. At strength 7 was just crazy.
Yeah, he's just keeping the entire team there. Getting some counter fouls on here as well. But it's a riskier proposition when you're that low on players to be going for the fouls.
Yeah, and then he does a nice handoff to try to level up the strength 5 warrior there.
Yeah, going for those uphill blocks. Just wow, Beasts of Nurgle. They love to play. They just love to play and play with the gifts of Grandpapa Nurgle. And this looks like it's a rooted tree as well, right?
Over. Yeah, he sort of moved him over the turn before, trying to get him to come in and take him down, and then he got rooted just before he could move in.
That sounds like a critical route.
Yeah, it was. Honestly, it was just such a harsh game for the Wood Elves. I backed them to win this week, and after watching that, I just thought to myself that was a proper wrong decision. They didn't stand a chance. Really didn't stand a chance.
It doesn't even look like it's that much of it even like being outplayed. It's just once you can get that death spiral in, you can just start doing it.
Yeah, it's just that Beast was man of the match, just outstanding, and obviously just once you tied a few players up, all the rest of the players, yeah, look at that, 6%. Yeah, so level ups. What we got? Rumpelstiltskin and Tristan the Brave, and the Wood Elves got Gwynillan.
Okay, so let's take a quick look at these ones here. So Rumpelstiltskin for I love that for their strength up warrior. Rumpelstiltskin takes tentacles. So they have 3 tentacle people on this team now. 1 of strength 7, 2 of strength 5. And Tristan the Brave was the second one level up, did you say?
Yeah.
And that's a dirty play on the Rotter, which perfectly sensible.
That team's coming good, isn't it? I remember at the start of the season we were saying that they've had a lot of losses and stuff, and we were predicting them to do well this season because the team's coming together, and yeah, they're going to be up there by the looks of it.
Yeah, it takes a couple of levels for them to come good, and yeah, if we go on to the Wood Elves,
number 6,
just going for dodge to make blodge on alignment, perfectly reasonable. I don't think this is just a missing next game, so no major permanent injuries. So that's something at least. Okay. So next up was another Elven match, except this time it was the Rebel Supremacy versus the Very Dead Corpses, and the TVs here were 1940 for Rebel Supremacy and 1710 for the Very Dead Corpses. Both teams here have a wizard because we're at Rebel Supremacy Stadium, but the Very Dead Corpses did get the +1 fame and have a reroll and some babes as well. So let's take a look and see how they got on. As you can see, kick coming in from the elves here, or the throw as the models decide to do it, and immediately off to a feisty start as this riot kicks things off. An early lightning bolt. We saw this last week as well at this Wizard Stadium. A lightning bolt to kind of free up the ball. You might think, well, that's really far back. Where's the recovery? But these elves are nippy. as we can see, getting through after taking out the ball carrier. We've got a little bit of space to mark up pretty much all of the necromantic who are close by and just get someone through that central point for the pickup. A little bit undefended, but Counterbolt doesn't need defense. This time, Bolt and Counterbolt working in concert, as those werewolves, they love to play with the ball, and they're able to recover and do all these passes into the centre of the cage. The leaping elf Blitzer is able to get through that and free that up. Bam! Knocking it backwards. And yeah, a good scatter for the necromantic there, but the elves are able to get around the back towards it. In that one tackle zone, dodge away like you just don't care. As you can see,
I know score from that.
Yeah, just able to just get through and pass it. Yeah, elves doing elf things. Tackle frenzy on the line here, just taking out a little bit of damage here. Piling on onto Electro. Oh no. An effing chat, everyone. Electro comes back as a zombie for the very dead corpses. A somewhat developed elven position or of a player. Yeah. Once again, leaping over to get access to the ball, but can only make a push because of the reroll being used. But strip ball is enough to get it free and recover here as we get a little frenzy push here, pushed into position, and then a bit of a frenzy trap, but it is enough to do that positioning.
You can surf him next turn.
Yeah, well, surf him this turn. It's only a 1 dice, and it makes it. Bam. There might have been some other ways to set that up, but it absolutely worked, and the ball carrier was surfed. Straight to the middle of the pitch there, where you've got a little bit of recovery options. But werewolves are always recovery options themselves, as we get.
I was wondering if he could surf any of the werewolves back then, but he obviously couldn't. One's got sidestep, I guess.
Yeah. And we see another bit of piling on from the werewolves. Doesn't do anything this time, but does free the ball, bouncing it out just in front of a flesh golem there. But they're all
turn 8.
They're all good boys. Nips in, passes it to the white. Can the white make it?
It's got to be go for it.
It's got to be go for it. It's got to be,
and
it's enough as the white is able to get through, evening up right at the end of the first half. Once again, these werewolves doing so much work here. Tackle particularly as well. This is just a great offensive player here, freeing up the ball there. But as we've seen there, it's not just the werewolves. Whites are getting in on the action too, just scoring the one we've just seen there. And
who's getting fouled here?
Lightning.
Oh.
A smashed ankle. That's a minus movement for the other key player. It is a bit unfortunate, and we getting up close and gnarly with the cameraman there for the very dead corpses as we get some key removals, which is not what you would have been wanting to see. As we can see on the Rebel Supremacy, death for Electro. You know, it's a lineman. Sorry, I said positional before, but when you've got Blodge Step, it's almost like you are an additional positional at that point.
Yeah, no, good player.
Yeah, and of course, Lightning. What is it with leaping players getting taken out this week? It's these sackers are going down like flies. Although at least there are a few other alternates for that kind of role on the Supremacy team.
He's not going to sack it at being movement 7.
But it's still not. It's just annoying. The very dead corpse is getting a very well deserved victory there. Just doing so much. The stars with these werewolves here for sure. But you just got enough other stuff elsewise on the team just to keep going. And you know they have got Electro now to kind of level up. It's always going to be. So it's maybe.
When you're facing 2 wolves, it's obviously difficult. So if he loses one of those wolves in a game, it's got to miss the next game, and then you've only got 1 wolf to focus on for the next game. It's that might be a struggle for them because they're looking at a 2-man team, aren't they? This team.
Well, the whites, I wouldn't go quite that far. The white is doing some damage, was able to get through. And we've got a
Are they
lot of
strength 4 gold? Did the strength 4 gold do anything? I forgot to mention it last week.
Strength Gold
That
didn't.
all he was doing, yeah, all he's doing was like making corners of cages with him. It's
Well,
like
that's perfect.
a pointless
Well,
player.
no, that's corners of a cage are an excellent play here. If you've got this ghoul like as a reserve, that's perfectly sensible. If you give your opponent lots of things to worry about, the more choices your opponent has to make, the higher the chances of making the more decisions they have to make, the more chances are he's going to make a bad decision. I think just having I used to be Smeagol there is just a nice little back pocket option here. And block and guard on both flesh gloves is nothing to sniff at either. But Archibald to sniff gets a double. I'll give you.
The tackle,
No, that's a.
or has it gone mighty
He's
blow?
gone. He's gone dodge. So
Okay.
Archibald Stiff
That's a
going
double.
bone blodge. Yep, and somehow still here. Is somehow still here. Already has wrestle. What would you have gone on that one?
So he's making him. Maybe he's taking tackle on
Yeah,
that
that's
one.
correct. Just going.
Yeah.
The route of wrestling to tackle for your kind of almost disregardable linemen like zombies and rotters and things like that. Wrestle tackle, pretty common situation to get into. Next up was a match that you had a chance to have a look at.
Yeah. The Altdorf Aquabata versus the Goblins Trusting Gob. So Kislev 1720 and Goblins 1500. The match I was looking forward to. It's Free Bribe and Fungus.
Ooh.
So how did they get on?
How did they get on indeed? Here we go.
So yeah, Goblins kick and no special weapons, no secret weapons on the pitch for the first drive, expecting the Kislev just to score quick, I guess.
Yeah, that would make sense to me.
Yeah. And you'll see right at the beginning there that was a horrid kick for the Kislev. But look at this play.
That's
Just
a big
love
old
it.
chain push. That's loads.
Yeah.
Oh, is that pushing the troll next to the
Pushing
ball?
Troll onto the, yeah. And next move, I don't know if I included it. Did I? Yeah.
Bam, down he goes because this is.
These two trolls, by the way, are outstanding. The amount of doubles they've got. One of them's got block pro. One of them's got tackle block. It's just they're really good
Ooh,
trolls.
let's not talk about leaping onto the ball to pick it up and running away. Is a great thing that Kislev teams can do, and lovely bit of recovery.
I thought they were going to stall a little bit longer, to be honest. Maybe I was just getting a little bit worried. So this gives the Goblins a chance to attack back. And is that Leaper? It is, because they're Kislev. And that's another injury this week for Leaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Goblin just decides to leap away and go for it.
Oh no!
Ouch. Yeah. Or did you use your feet? Reroll.
Hey, boingy boingy.
Yeah, mate. So
Perhaps,
critical 1-1 off time.
Perhaps should have stalled a little bit longer.
So all the weapons on the pitch now. You got the 2 ball and chains. You got the chainsaw at the back.
So this is coming into the Goblin drive. Is that right?
Yeah, second half. Yeah, and I like the way that he uses the ball and chains for position rather than just for beating people up. But that's unfortunate.
Cultist McJunior. No, he was the best of us.
Yeah. And look, he's left the guy wide open there as well. So all he's got to do is just leap in and oops.
Oh no, splat. Oh no.
Snake.
Out, snaked it and KO'd.
Really
oh no.
Unfortunate.
That was
really
potentially very punishable. Oof.
So I think when you're a Goblin coach and you see a scoring opportunity, I think you take it when you can by the looks of it. So can he do it? He can. So he had all his guys on the pitch. So he lost one of the ball and chains and he's kept, or has he lost both the ball and chains? I think, yeah, he just kept the chainsaw on the pitch.
Keeping that,
just as a little backup.
Keeping that both down to turnover but free the ball up is a hefty play. But sometimes you gotta. Cultus Junior 4, no. But presumably you're just trying to scatter this off the pitch just to get it out of the way, right?
Slow him up a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here you'll see that he takes out the chainsaw, which I think is a wise choice because that's what's going to stop you from scoring on the next turn. It's turn 15. And then he just tries to position himself for getting it ready to score in the next turn. But you're about to see some nice Goblin play again. And the Goblin runs round, manages to get the 2 dice on him,
Hits that
and
pow. Boom.
secures the win. Goblins are good. They are good. There's no shame in losing to this Goblin team at all. As I say, those 2 trolls are outstanding. Look at that, really stupid. Look at that, only 3 failures. Yeah, the trolls are outstanding. They really are. And when you've got the 2 ball and chains on the pitch as well, you've got all that strength. It's hard to play against. And that Pogoer, edge 4, movement, whatever he is, he's got sprint and sure feet. Yeah, they're hard to play against. So it's not a bad loss at all. I'd say quite a few teams are going to lose to this Goblin team this season.
Yeah. Pleasure to be commentating them. Any level ups?
Yes. So you got Andrea and Claudio.
Okay, let's take a quick look at those on Altdorf Acrobata. Going to tackle. Perhaps wishing they had it a little bit for that last match with the Goblins there. We've got the movement bust here for Francesco. That's not great. Just a standard missing next game here for Gianluca and Claudio. Taking block. Yeah, block after dirty player. A lot of people like to go with wrestle than that. Block also good. It's particularly for a team like Kizev where you don't have any natural block. Potentially what's causing that there.
Yeah. The Cultist 7's got a level up for the Goblins. And I just want to have a quick look at the 2 trolls as well while we're at it.
Okay, yeah, sure. Let's take a quick look at those. Yeah.
So yeah, what's he got there? Yeah, block and pro. They're both doubles.
Yep.
And he's got block and tackle. Yeah, I got it right.
Yeah.
No, they're crazy good trolls, aren't they?
They're very good. The AV bust on the Walrus is a bit of a pain, but it is what it is. Cultist 7 Junior has not used their skill points yet, so maybe they're thinking about whether or not they're going to be fired to keep TV down. Who possibly knows? Probably not if we've still got an AV7-1 rookie around still, but who knows?
But I'm enjoying the streams actually, so I'm watching the streams and then I'm recording it another day because he's just a nice chilled out guy. He never seems to panic under pressure. So, yeah, he's good fun to watch. It really is.
Tilt management is a very important skill, not just for Blood Bowl, but for life in general. Speaking of which, we have the last match, Tasty Tunes versus Umwelt. 1670 for the Tunes. They also got the +1 fame coming into it. Umwelt take the Babes, a Bribe, and a Wizard as we go in and see how this match went along. Starts off in the snow. Looks like it could be a bit chilly for the Amazonians. However, Nuffle decides just at the last minute for the weather to get a little bit nicer, and we don't need to worry about slippery stuff. However, perhaps the slippery stuff you do need to worry about is the pitch itself, as this was a match that was a lot more cerebral than some of the other ones we've seen already. A lot of positioning play, both teams concentrating on their own drive, which is why we're skipping straight up to turn 8 for the Tasty Tunes. They've moved around the pitch a little bit, but it's very straight up, just working around the Amazonian defence, taking people out when they can, and just eventually going for this push up the right hand side. You can see at this point even we've got a little bit of damage going on to the Amazons, as right at the end of the first half they're able to get in with the score. Now, straight into the second half, to this last part of the second half, as once again we most positioning for the first part of it. A big fireball here, taking 2 people out, as the Amazons, really low on people at this point, are just doing a desperation drive forward. And that fireball, combined with that injury here, they've only got a few people on the pitch to be able to just get this drive for the equaliser, and they're just about able to get through. But a Horn's diving tackle does push through and free up the ball for the Underworld. However, they are also able to recover it. But the dodge missed the diving tackle, unfortunately. Or perhaps they didn't just like the odds, but the diving tackle takes it out. Did go towards the side of the pitch, so it could have potentially scattered off, but it did not. And the Amazons were just about able to come through. And they made it for the equaliser right at the last minute. And yeah, a very positional match. Both teams obviously having the game plan for their own drive and successfully able to, action it and get it through. One missing next game for one of the Goblins, but just some badly hurts. And in terms of, only badly hurts for the Amazons. So, not a huge amount of highlights because it was very focused on those two pushes at the end of each turn. But well fought draw for both sides here, both actively countering each other, and particularly I will give a shout out to the Amazons there, who were in a pretty bad position to make that equaliser, but good keeping hold of that wizard right until the end, right until it was definitely needed, was some good discipline there, and was able to run through and make sure it was a 1-1 result for them in the end there.
He's got a nice troll as well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Got control on that troll.
Lots of great trolls. So yeah, those are the matches this week. I suppose we should go on to the predictions. So I've made a couple of tweaks to make it a little bit easier to watch as we go through. We'll discuss ours for this week. Well, I didn't do very well. You might have picked up on this, guys. I'm not very good at predictions. Rob, you got a couple spot on here, so you're pulling ahead of
me. Our characters are in the way quite a bit of some of these scores as well. You can't see.
Okay, I was going to pull that up a little bit. There you go.
But yeah, I steamed up to 11 points. What I'm quite happy about. I'm still not winning. Who's winning?
I believe we'll come across. Coach Cool got 3 points. Got one dead on there. Got predicted that draw at the end. Good on you. Mad Frog joining me in a low scoring week. GMAN, that's unfortunate there, but it's been a tricky week for the predictions. Lord Brainlord getting a couple in there. H. Linux once again having another unfortunate one. Kianda having another unfortunate one. So do not feel bad about scoring low this week. Berserk getting some good stuff here. Thurnlow once again having a tricksy one. Illogics, that's Illogics pretty good. One correct, one dead on. The Dr. Nick, however, is pushing ahead and is currently in the lead with a couple of correct results and one dead on draw for the Proud Ruin versus the Imperishable 4-1-all. Innovation 92 once again getting a single point, which is still more than a few people. And this week coming up, we're going to have Filippo 91. Thank you very much for joining us. As we're moving forward to next week's predictions, which I guess we should probably be going through now. First up, we've got the Warriors of Coney Island versus Altdorf Acrobatica. I've gone for a 1-1 draw. These are both teams that have just had a pretty unfortunate last match this week, so I think they're going to be having a similar result to what we just saw in that last match with the Tunes and Umvelt there. Just hitting their own game plan, not really able to interfere with the opponent's 1-1. So that's why I've gone for that one.
Yeah, Warriors got beaten up that first week, and they're struggling to get back on their feet as such. And the Kislev got a bit beaten up last week, so that's why I've gone for draw. I think they're both going to score in their own drive, so I'll agree with you on that one.
Yeah, next up we've got Tasty Tunes and Rebel Supremacy. We've both gone for Rebel Supremacy here. I've gone for 2-1, you've gone for 3-1. What's your thinking there?
I didn't know that they've lost a couple of decent players, but I've got a feeling they're going to have a nice week with the dice again, so... You know, I like the high elf team. I back them whenever I think it's sensible to do it. So yeah, I can see them scoring quite a few.
Yeah, I think they've both got similar game plans, and I just think Supremacy's much like we saw with the Chaos versus the Orcs, and you've got teams that both have similar-ish game plans, and one team's got more tools. I'm generally going to side with that team, so I've gone with the Supremacy there, 2-1. Umvelt have got a Grim Tail here. I've gone 2-0 to Grimtail. You've gone 1-0. What was your thinking on that one?
Just that, after watching that beast, it's just, he's a handful, and now he's got 3 tentacles. It's going to be so hard for the Amazons. It really is. Those Amazons are going to somehow got to try to get the ball when it's near that when it's near that beast, and it's going to be so difficult. I can't see him scoring.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be so hard.
There's just 3 real big points of contention there, and they're all tentacle players, and
Yeah.
it's just going to be tricky. I mean, I'd love to see him break through it, but it's going to be tricky. I think it's all that tentacles is going to be a real nasty counter against that dodge. Trusting Gob versus the Hat-Tricks. I've gone 1-2 for the Chaos Dwarfs here because tackle is good against goblins. That's
Yeah,
that's my in-depth insight there.
No one's backed the Goblins. Only one person's gone for the draw. I can't remember who it is, but everyone's gone for a hat-trick win. Don't bet against Goblins, I would say, even though I've done it myself. So I'll be keen to see the outcome of that game, I have to say. But you wouldn't have thought the Goblins stood a chance, to be fair.
Next up, we've got VDC versus the Proud Women, the Very Dead Corpses. I've gone for 2-2 here, and you've gone for 1-1.
Yeah, this is the Necro, isn't it,
Yeah.
versus the really nice Amazon team. It's hard to shout. I've got a feeling we're going to lose a Wolf this week, so it may be a missing game. We don't know, but that's my prediction. But I just see it being a draw. Yeah, it's too hard to call.
Yeah, I think these are both teams that have got some standout players, know how to use them. I think we're just going to be seeing some playing around each other, and high scoring because of the tools, but I think effectively cancelling each other out. Next up, we've got Faj versus the Auric Haikus. So we've got some Elves versus Orcs. We've both gone 2-1 for the Elves.
I think the Elves were tied down last week and they need to stretch the legs this week. So I don't remember there being that much tackle on the Orc team. I think they got 1 or 2 players, but I can just see the Woodies dancing around them, to be honest with you.
Similar here. Auric Haikus are great at the smash game, but the Sabertooths are good at avoiding that smash game. So, just going to give them the edge just from that extra agility. And a similar matchup, the Sit Down Boys versus the Imperishable Four. I've gone for a similar result, 2-1 to the Elves.
I can't see my score. The Goblin head's in the way.
We've gone for 1-1.
Okay. I'm a bit of a fan of Kenway, but the Sit Down Boys, they're a good team, aren't they?
Yeah.
So again, I couldn't call it. That's why I went for draws. If I'm not sure, if I'm looking at the matchup and I can't decide, then I'm just chucking draws at them. I think that's a sensible thing to do.
Yeah, I think the Sit Down Boys have got a bit to prove from last week, and they've just got a little bit of that movement advantage over them as well. Once again, I think the Imperishable Four is going to put up a spirited defence, but I just think that Agility 4, they're just going to be able to squeak just that important one past them at the end.
Yeah, let's have a look at the league table, shall we, again?
Back to it. Once again, we can see that it is everything to play for. We'd be saying that even if the results hadn't come in this, because it's only week 2, but it is extremely close.
Can you remove the Goblin and the Minotaur for a sec?
Yes, I can.
There we go. Cheers, man.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's very close. It is really close, actually. And I would have thought that the kids are going to get some points on the board as well at some point.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
yeah. Looking forward to next week's games, definitely.
Indeed. As I pop us back in just in time for us to do our catchphrases.
All right, so that's all from me. That's all, folks.
And we will see you on the pitch.